A gift in red.
No escape.
Trigger warning. Before we begin, please note, this story contains elements of suspense, supernatural elements, and fear. Viewer discretion is advised. Tonight's story follows Charlie, a new character who, like Alex, has encountered something mysterious and deeply unsettling as the countdown continues to night 2. I've always loved Christmas. The decorations, the lights, the warmth that fills the air. It's my favorite time of year. But this year, it feels different. Like there's something heavy in the air that I can't quite explain. Almost like there's a shadow over everything. Something waiting in the darkness, just out of reach. It started with a gift. I'd just come home, my mind still buzzing from a long day. And as I stepped onto the porch, I saw it there. A small, neatly wrapped box sitting on my doorstep. The paper was a bright, cheerful red, tied with a perfect green ribbon. It looked ordinary, even welcoming. And yet, as I stared at it, an uncomfortable chill crept down my spine. There was no tag or name, just a small label that read, "From a friend." A friend. The word echoed in my mind. It felt strange, almost mocking, because somehow deep down, I knew that this wasn't from anyone I'd call a friend. I hesitated, my hand hovering over it, part of me wanting to just leave it there, to walk away and forget I'd ever seen it. But that didn't make sense, did it? It was just a gift, a harmless little box wrapped in festive paper. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was waiting for me, like it knew I'd find it. I picked it up, and the box was heavier than I expected, almost dense. It felt solid in my hands, cold, as if it had been sitting out there for hours, even though I hadn't seen it when I'd left that morning. Once inside, I set it down on my coffee table, taking a deep breath. The room felt quiet, too quiet, as if the house itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what I'd do next. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. I untied the green ribbon, let the red paper fall away, and lifted the lid. Inside was an ornament, old, faded, with paint chipped off in places. It looked like it had seen many Christmases, as if it had been passed down through countless hands. It was delicate, fragile, almost like a relic from another time. But as I held it up to the light, I noticed something strange. It wasn't just an old ornament. It seemed to be glowing faintly. At first I thought it was just a trick of the light, but no. There was definitely a soft, eerie glow, almost like there was a small light hidden somewhere inside it. The glow pulsed, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. My hands started to tremble. I couldn't explain why, but the sight of that soft glow made my skin crawl. I tried to convince myself it was harmless, just a vintage ornament with some kind of charm. But deep down, I knew there was something wrong with it. Something unnatural. I placed it back on the table, hoping the strange feeling would fade once I let go. But the moment I set it down, the room felt colder, like someone had opened a window, letting in a biting chill that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And then I noticed the shadows. At first they were just faint outlines, stretching across the floor as the evening light faded outside. But as I watched, they started to shift, to move, swirling around the room like they had a mind of their own. They stretched and twisted, curling along the walls, darkening the corners, reaching out like long fingers toward the ornament on the table. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, told myself I was just tired. Shadows don't move on their own, right? But these were alive, shifting and stretching toward the table, toward that eerie glow pulsing from within the ornament. That's when I saw it. There was something else. A small label tucked beneath the ornament, just barely visible. With shaky hands, I reached out, pulled it free, and felt my stomach twist as I read the words written in small, careful handwriting. Night 2. My heart started pounding. Night 2. It didn't make any sense. Was this some kind of countdown? A warning? If tonight was night 2, what would happen tomorrow, and why was it left for me? I couldn't stop staring at the label, the words repeating in my mind like a ticking clock. I felt like I was caught in some twisted game, and I didn't know the rules. But one thing was clear. This wasn't random. This was meant for me, and I had a feeling that the countdown had only just begun. The shadows were growing darker, pulling me out of my thoughts as they crept closer to the table, gathering around the ornament, wrapping around it like they were drawn to its glow. I watched, frozen, as the shadows thickened, pooling together until they formed something tall and dark, standing in the center of the room. It was a figure. No face, no details, just a tall, shadowy outline with long, thin fingers that stretched out toward the ornament. The room felt colder, the air heavy, pressing down on me, making it hard to breathe. I wanted to run, to scream, but I couldn't move. I was trapped, forced to watch as that shadowy figure reached closer and closer, its hand hovering just inches from the ornament, almost like it was claiming it. And then, just like that, it vanished. The shadows melted away, slipping back into the corners as if they'd never been there. The glow from the ornament faded, leaving the room dark, silent. But that cold, oppressive feeling lingered. I sat there, my heart racing, the words Night 2 echoing in my mind. Whoever, or whatever, had left that gift, they weren't done. I didn't know what was coming, but deep down, I knew this was only the beginning of something far more sinister. Thank you for watching Night 2 of the 12 Nights of Terror. If you're brave enough to see what happens next, come back tomorrow for Night 3. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this countdown is only getting more terrifying.